Hello everyone and welcome back for another edition of 8 Minutes with Aaron. I am of course your host Aaron, and today we are talking about WWE Smackdown. That did take place on September 26, 2025. Yes, I am a little bit late, but hey, my videos got a little effed up with the audio. So let's get rolling with a fresh edition of this guy right here, Aaron. WWE Smackdown started off with my boy Paul Heyman coming out there and asking the crowd, just like Cody Rhodes would say, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Braun Breaker? Do you want to talk about Seth freaking Rollins? Or do you want to talk about Brock Lesnar? Yeah, that's my imaginary microphone. Anyway, that made Cody Rhodes come out, and Cody came down to the ring, and he's like, listen, Paul, I'm going to answer for everybody, and you tell me about Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman's like, you don't need to worry about Brock Lesnar right now, but just know that he is around. And then he said, but you have other things to worry about, not just the crown jewel when you will face Seth Rollins. Take a look. You're outnumbered. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed made their way to the ring. Cody was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm going to try anyway. So he starts brawling with them too. He had the early advantage. And then, of course, the numbers game got to him and they started beating his ass. And then you just hear, I hear voices in my head. I can't do the rest, but you know what I mean. Here came Randy Orton for the save. He beat up Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They scattered to the outside. Paul Heyman's like, oh, chill, 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 chill. And then Cody was lifted up by the Viper, who grabbed the world title and glanced at it, folks. Bink, bink. Oh, yeah, he did look at it. In the back, the Street Profits were getting ready for their #1 contenders match. They're talking about how they are in sync. They are cool. They are not breaking up. That's all rumors and shit. The Wyatts can shove it up their asses. Let's go out there and get some smoke. That's what they wanted to do. So it was the Street Profits versus Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. This match was just a normal tag team match. Of course, you know, The Miz was doing his, Miz offense. Anyway, it comes down to the Street Profits. They pulled off the victory. I think the Wyatts were there. Yeah, the Wyatts showed up at the end. Overall, I'm going to give this match a John because I'm not interested in Mellow Don't Miz, and I am not interested in, at all, the Street Profits. Maybe it was just to further the rift between The Miz and Carmelo Hayes. That probably should happen very shortly. Backstage, we had Stephanie Valkyrie talking with Jade Cargill, saying, if you do win tonight in the Triple Threat for the Women's World Title, I will be facing you at Night of Champions in, I don't know, somewhere in Saudi Arabia. Let's just say that. We had a match. It was Giulia versus Kiana James and Mission and B-Fab. They've been having a little feud back and forth every single week for the last 2 weeks. The title hasn't been up for grabs. Giulia's been working with Kiana James. Kiana James is getting an up because she is, so beautiful, so beautiful. And Giulia's good too. She's a great wrestler in the ring. So Mission and B-Fab. I don't know what the hell B-Fab's going on. Anyway, the tag team match was just lame. I didn't really pay attention to it. And something happened, and the Northern Lights bomb to Mission for the 1, 2, 3. I don't know why B-Fab didn't take the pin. Doesn't make sense. I'm going to give this on bitchin' down. It's getting it down. Whoa! Where is my head today, folks? All right, backstage we had Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss with a little skit. Alexa Bliss wanted her to cheer or do a pom-pom thingy-mabobber. And in came the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Soroka and Zarya. I have no idea who they are. But let me just tell you, Alexa Bliss looks microscopic to those three. She looks so short. I don't even know how this is even believable, folks. How is it believable? I have no idea. Drew McIntyre came out next, saved the day, saved the whole SmackDown that was going downhill because the first segment was a little drawn out with Paul Heyman and Cody Rhodes, and I'm not really a big fan of Cody Rhodes. Drew McIntyre came in and demanded another rematch, or a match, I should say, against Cody Rhodes because the ref got in the way when he was going to do a nice Claymore kick to Cody Rhodes' head against the commentator's desk, but he stood in the way, which I say, hey, that's a legitimate reason, because the ref should not get in the way. It's a wrestling match. Get the fuck out of there, referee. You screwed Drew McIntyre. You tried to F on him. Of course, Nick Aldis came out and was like, Drew, you're complaining, you're bitching, you're moaning, blah, 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 blah. Drew McIntyre's like, yo, you see this boot on my foot? Yeah, that's right. I went to my own doctors because the WWE doctors are pieces of shit. and they don't know what they're doing. Nick Aldis is like, look, the WWE official said you weren't hurt, so get the fuck out of the ring, let's go. But he did not, and out came Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu, who we've been speaking about, hasn't been on television and shit like that, made his way to the ring. He got inside, he's like, listen, Drew McIntyre, get the fuck out of here, I'm tired of hearing you bitching, you know what I mean? Drew McIntyre grabbed the mic and was like, don't you fucking talk to me like that, you stupid piece of shit. And then hit him with a glass cow kiss. But unfortunately, you know them Samoans, their heads are made of like, I don't know, concrete or some kind of shit that don't take damage. And then Jacob Fatu did a little kick, took off Drew McIntyre's boot, should be illegal, he should be suspended for this, and hit Drew in the head, and Drew had to make an escape because he only had one good leg. Jacob Fatu, you're an asshole, you son of a bitch. Oh! Backstage, Stephanie Valkyrie walked up to Tiffany Stratton and said, if you retain the title tonight, I am going to be facing you at Night of Champions in Perth. Perth, is that it? Perth in Saudi Arabia? Next, we had that asshole Sami Zayn, who was the United States champion, putting his title on the line in an open challenge. And who answered it? Javon Evans, a young 21-year-old from NXT who has been killing it in NXT. He did a very good show against Sami Zayn. A lot of great offense. But you know what? Nobody wanted Sami to win. It's funny. Yes, they are in Orlando. It is the home of NXT. But once Javon Evans started like flipping and doing all this shit and got a couple of close calls on Sami Zayn, people were freaking cheering for this dude to pull out the victory. He did like a couple of other moves, like off the top rope and shit like that. I don't know what the hell he does. And he got a 2 count, a close 3. It wasn't going to be a 3. And the fans started booing the referee. They're like, boo, fuck you, ref. Fuck you, ref. And then when Sami Zayn was getting ready for the hell of a kick and the blue tiger bomb for the victory, people were booing Sami. They didn't want Sami to win. They wanted Javon Evans to pick up the victory and the United States title. That's great. That's amazing that people had his back. But yes, I do understand that they are in Orlando. And finally, our last match was Tiffany Stratton for the Women's Champion versus Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. This match was a flipper flap of a match. What do I mean by that? It sucked ass. And I don't mean sucked ass in a good way, in a bad way, a down way. That's right, it is getting it down just like that Sami Zayn match is getting it down because Javon didn't win, and I hate Sami Zayn. So many botches, so many mistakes by Jade Cargill. She tried to get like Tiffany Stratton on like a pinning combination, but she couldn't get it around Tiffany Stratton, and it just looked a mess. You had Nia Jax, who just kept going like this. Every time she did a move, she looked like a fucking trash can and just kept running into people. Can she do anything else? And then, towards the end of the match, they go outside the ring, Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. Nia Jax slams Jade Cargill's face right against the steel steps, busts her open. So Jade Cargill's bloody as shit, going like this and shit like that. Nia Jax comes in the ring. Tiffany Stratton knocks her down. Is supposed to get like a 2 count. Because Jade Cargill's supposed to come in and break the pin. But since Jade Cargill's outside the ring, she's fucked up and don't know what's going on. The ref's like, 1, 2. And then just waited there like an ass clown. And then Nia Jax just didn't do anything. Then she's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then the prettiest moonsault by fucking Tiffany Stratton. She retains the title. Out came Stephanie Valkyrie, came in the ring, held up her title and said, bitch, I'm going to fuck you up. Like I said, the match is getting it down. SmackDown is getting it down. My name is Aaron. Thank you for joining me today, Mr. Aaron. I will see you next time. We'll go over more stuff, more things, and of course, more of me. I'll see y'all later. Bye.